Bitcoin is climbing above critical resistance as we speak, and while things are not set in stone, it's showing extreme promise for what the next few days might be as a revival of this incredible bull cycle that we've experienced that has been powered primarily by DeFi. However, another narrative that's fast emerging is the Polkadot ecosystem. Today, we're covering two undervalued altcoin gems that I've just gotten myself a nice big bag of because I think the waters are calm enough to start sailing once again. Today we're dropping some serious alpha as I'm telling you, one, how I'm covering my position in case things break down. Two is actually an exchange gem that's listing some of the most exciting projects in the space long before other centralized exchanges, and this thing is filled with gems. And three, I'm going to tell you not only about these altcoin gems that I've just gotten myself a bag of, but also how I'm covering my position and diversifying in case things break down. So if you guys are excited for this, then do me a favor and smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to 5,000 likes on this video. And don't forget that each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. As this article aptly points out, Bitcoin is now consolidating in the range and looking to test the 10.5 resistance. And while we haven't gotten a daily closure or a 12-hour closure above that level, it's looking right now like Bitcoin could be making the move of titanic proportions to reverse this dip and start building bullish momentum once again. Now, of course, we haven't formally and fully filled the CME gap, but other analysts are considering that with these wicks down here to the $9,800 level, some could consider it filled. But what we do see is Bitcoin picking its head above these horizontal resistances and this bullish pennant, both of which are seeming like if it can hold this ground or gain a little bit, that it'll try higher, potentially above 11,000, which is extremely good news for keeping the music going on this DeFi fueled bull run. Now, with that said, let's dive into what I know you guys are excited about, which is some altcoins that I've just gotten my hands on that seem extremely undervalued. Of course, if the market falls apart, they're not going to do well, but these things fit into narratives that I love, seem to have solid teams in tech, and by all means, given comparatives in the space, seem to be tremendously undervalued. So let's get to the good stuff. First, let's talk about Phala Network, which is one of the newest and most undervalued Polkadot ecosystem projects. They've just been the recipient of a Web3 grant, and they're building a confidential second layer privacy chain on Polkadot. They have a confidential data exchange protocol where they guarantee the reliable execution of smart contracts while keeping data secretly. Confidential contracts run in minor nodes with trusted computing capable hardwares which guarantee the secrecy of contract data. You can see it now a little better now that I've scrolled down. Here in their technology white paper, you can see that they're criticizing Monero and Zcash for using the ZK Snark technology, saying that it can't be extended to smart contracts, whereas their MPC multi-party computing can theoretically run arbitrary programs without revealing intermediate states to participants with the expense of performance overhead, which makes it impractical for real-world use cases. A new approach is to utilize specialized hardware, i.e. Trusted Execution Environment, or TEE. TEE is a special area in some processors that provides higher level of security, including isolated execution, code integration, and state confidentiality. So they're using hardware here to achieve the confidential transaction layer while still not sacrificing throughput. They're saying one of the issues here is that contracts cannot interoperate with each other, let alone external blockchains. Interoperability is a keystone of modern smart contracts. For example, 8 of the 10 contracts in Ethereum, the largest smart contracts platform in the world, rely on functions, invocations, or money transferring to at least one other contract. Without interoperability, contracts cannot read information or call functions from other smart contracts. What's more is the use of self-defined tokens. One of the most important use cases in smart contract usages is unachievable if all contracts cannot access the token contract. In this paper, we present the Phala Network, a novel cross-chain interoperable confidential smart contract network, as Polkadot Parachain. So they're using a Polkadot Parachain here to achieve their confidentiality, high throughput, and interoperability. I'll link this technical documentation here in the description, but for the purposes of this video, I think that gives you a pretty good understanding of what they're trying to achieve, using hardware and Polkadot to achieve both high throughput and interoperability. Now, the big annoying part about this is that it's only really available for trading on Huobi, and you have to say you're Chinese and use a VPN to use that. They're also available on Hotbit, but Hotbit doesn't have any liquidity, just $400,000 in a 24-hour period here, which is, as you can see here, is really not that much. So Huobi, if you guys know how to get into Huobi, is definitely the place to get this token. And here they talk about the trustless execution, where they use hardware-level isolation. Trusted computing with capable CPUs can provide low-level isolation that can even resist OS and hardware-level attacks. Trusted execution. Users can only interact with confidential contracts in an authorized way. Hackers can't read or write the protected contract data in any way. Multi-hardware standard supported. Fallon Network will support multiple TEEs, including Intel SGX, AMD SEV, and ARM Truststone. So they're saying that they have different types of hardware they can use with this infrastructure and a confidential computation layer too. Fallon Network can offer the ability of confidential contract to any blockchains because the protocol is natively cross-chain interoperable due to being built on Substrate, the Polkadot infrastructure. And so this is what they're achieving, is smart contracts with secrets, which we all know that for enterprise adoption, for sensitive data like healthcare and other types of use cases coming onto the blockchain, private information is very critical and one of the big drawbacks of blockchain. Of course, it's a positive and a negative as it's a transparent environment, but not all use cases want to be open and visible. We see that privacy is going to be a consistent concern. While I do believe that privacy coins in general will face some regulatory scrutiny, it's worth understanding that some privacy of some data is still very much so needed for blockchain to be mainstreamed for certain use cases. And so the products they have here are Web3 Analytics. We invite you to turn your website fully Web3 without pain. W3A is a decentralized analytics system which values user privacy. W3A is completely open source. Fallon Network enforces user ownership of their personal data. Therefore, they eliminated data leakage or abuse. And so you see it, they were talking a lot about interoperating with the Libra project, which obviously isn't live, but I think that's what they were getting ready for. Regardless, what I loved about this is that this team has been going since 2018. This isn't a brand new project here where they're hopping on the Polkadot hype. They've been building and developing their ideas for over 2 years now. And they also just got a Web3 grant. Here, Fallon Network is a Web3 Foundation grant project. In support of our mission, the Web3 Foundation grants program funds, software development, research, technical education, and community engagement efforts in and around the field of decentralized software protocols. As we well know, Polkadot is all the rage these days, and so seeing a fresh Polkadot project that has not been pumped to smithereens and has a sub 10 million market cap value is extremely exciting. And you see here that they're building on Substrate and is a member of the Substrate Builders Program. While the market cap is not visible here on CoinGecko, one of my researchers estimates that the total market cap is less than 10 million, which to me is a good entry point for a Polkadot project, most of which are worth 40, 50, sometimes over 100 million and beyond. And now I'm about to drop on you guys some serious alpha. Now, alpha in the trading world refers to gains or profits. However, we also use alpha as a slang term to imply some strategic advantages. If somebody says that's alpha, that's their way of saying this is some secret knowledge that's either helping you get ahead or helping me get ahead, helping someone get ahead. So I'm about to drop some alpha on you guys about an exchange that has truly been dropping the gems. This exchange called Who is actually filled with tons and tons of gems. And you might not recognize a lot of these. As you can see, 35% of projects listed last night during the 6-hour period were rug pulls. And so Uniswap, you run the risk of there being a rug pull because essentially anyone can prop up a liquidity pool and slap a logo on it. You have enough to get some hype going in this crazy DeFi fueled market where essentially if you don't buy in within a blink, the price is gone. So with this kind of risk, knowing that tons are rug pulls and tons drop like stones on Uniswap, even though you do get that early access point, the reality is that this exchange Who actually has a bunch of coins that I think of are much higher percentages. Just like our PCX gem, they have Cardia Chain, they have Statera, they have Box, they have OXT, they have tons and tons of coins, and I've been finding tons of gems on this exchange. This is the alpha, is that the coins on Who are doing really well, and as long as this DeFi fueled alt season keeps on cranking, I believe Who is going to be a place for some serious gains. If you were going to sign up for Who, I'd appreciate it if you used my referral link. It supports the channel, and of course there's also a link there if you want to sign up for Huobi. Just wanted to interject as well that I've been farming some yields with stable coins while the market's been going through this turmoil, which is really awesome because some of these yields are literally over 70% for pretty reliable ecosystems like on Yearn.finance. And because Yearn has been cloned so much, a lot of these yields can equally be achieved on some of the clones where you're not only getting the yield, but you're also getting some of that governance token which has value, like we know YFI does. And so remember that these Yearn clones are already good to start because they're kind of just forking something that's already working in YFI. But then if they're undervalued or have some good governance tokens, it's worth farming them with your stable coins because then you can get the governance token essentially for free while also getting some yields. And so while the market's choppy, if you're not convinced that you want to be riding it out in some altcoins or in Ethereum or Bitcoin, then what you really want to be doing is farming some yields. Now, there is smart contract risk, there is bugs risk, there is a bunch of other risks that could come along with this, but it's important to realize that that's a great opportunity that's been presented through this DeFi narrative, is that you can be in stablecoins completely outside of the volatility of the market and still farming some yields. I'm looking for the opening of YF Beta to essentially start letting me farm there, but I'll put a list of interesting places where you can farm yields in the description, including on some exchanges, though that's a bit risky because you have to trust the exchange, like Hotbit. They are doing like 150% APY, which is pretty attractive. Regardless, these are the opportunities that you can take advantage of while the market's in this chop if you're not feeling so confident. I do want to reiterate that this one is way more risky and potentially could turn against you, just like any of these small cap alts. And one of the reasons is it's kind of hard for me to determine right now what the market cap is. So as we get some more clarity, it'll be more clear how undervalued or overvalued this one might be. But regardless, it's pretty much not being talked about anywhere, and most of the supply is reserved for liquidity incentive rewards. So I'm excited about what could potentially happen with the price of this one. So to recap, very bullish on Phala. I think Who is an amazing exchange that you guys should be signed up for because there are a lot of gems that have been vetted and can't do rug pulls over there. As well as finally, the Zild Finance is a very interesting project that I think if they deliver could lead to some serious gains, though it is a little bit harder to determine their market cap, and so I went in with a much smaller bite as that one could turn against me. It could already be overvalued. As usual, everything is incredibly risky, so you have to have your big boy pants on, as Ivan says, if you're going to do any of these moves. But I sincerely hope that this video has helped you understand about some compelling projects in the space, and if you got some value out of it, do me a favor and smash that like button. I'm also going to be releasing videos just like this all the time. So if you feel like you were late to the video or wanted to get there sooner, then I highly encourage you guys to subscribe and put that little bell notification on. If you don't have the bell notification on, you will not be made aware when I put out videos like this. And these small projects tend to be pretty explosive in price actions, so you just don't want to be the last one to know. Trust me, you're going to want to subscribe and put that bell on. If you guys want to connect with me personally, I highly encourage you guys to follow me on Twitter. I'm tweeting up a storm and creating some really interesting content over there. As well, if you want to join my community, you should click the link to join my Telegram, and you can chat with me and my crew all day and all night about the most interesting coins in the space. As usual, I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a happy and healthy weekend, and I will see you very soon on the next episode.